What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump. So, Kat, they know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and you know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing.
Greg Gutfeld has made a career out of saying what the establishment doesn't want to hear. And on live TV, he did it again, this time taking direct aim at former President Barack Obama, exposing what so many in the media have tiptoed around for years, and the result was explosive. What made this moment so powerful is that it wasn't just another political jab. It was a full breakdown of the myth versus the reality. Because for over a decade, Obama has been protected by a kind of untouchable status, treated like a cultural icon rather than a political figure. But Gutfeld, he ripped straight through that protection, calling out the hypocrisy, the contradictions, and the double standards that the mainstream media refuses to acknowledge. He pointed out how Obama is constantly framed as the gold standard of leadership, the one who brought hope and change. Yet the policies, the results, and the ripple effects tell a very different story.
It is a constant menu. They will find, like, folks who make me mad.
So let's analyze. He says Fox out of its way to locate and then demonize the poor. For what reason? So we can kill and eat them? His criticism is absurd because he never suggests a motive. FNC is always focused on policies that keep the poor, not the poor themselves. And that's scary to progressives like Obama, who fear that their ideology will be exposed as the culprit behind so much present misery. Identity politics, welfare policies, and the white liberal addiction to social intervention has helped replace enterprise with entitlement. And that has hurt the poor more than street drugs or police brutality.
Whether it's foreign policy blunders that destabilized entire regions or domestic promises that never fully materialized, Gutfeld reminded viewers that behind the soaring speeches were decisions with real consequences. Consequences the media rarely talks about. And then he went further, digging into the way Obama still hovers over American politics, shaping the conversation, pulling strings behind the scenes, and protecting his legacy at all costs. And Gutfeld said what many suspect, but few say out loud, that Obama's influence isn't just historical, it's current, and it raises questions about who's really running the show in Washington today. The live audience was stunned, because this wasn't just criticism, it was exposure, a pulling back of the curtain, and it left Obama's carefully crafted image cracked, maybe for the first time in front of such a wide audience, because when Gutfeld started laying out the receipts, the facts, the contradictions, the things people remember but the media ignores, the narrative started to collapse. And that's why this moment is trending, because people are tired of political untouchables, tired of hearing the same polished narratives, tired of watching the media bow down to politicians like they're celebrities, and Gutfeld reminded everyone that politicians work for the people, not the other way around, and no amount of legacy building can erase the truth when it's finally spoken out loud.
Hit bin Laden. And remember who told him not to do it? Yep, Biden. Obama gave him a glass of milk and told him to sit down, which is a terrible comment. Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum.
So what we saw on live TV wasn't just Greg Gutfeld throwing shade. It was Greg Gutfeld exposing a reality that millions feel but rarely hear on mainstream television. And shockwave? It's still spreading. What Greg Gutfeld did next wasn't just bold. It was brutal, because he took the sheen off Obama's carefully curated legacy and walked viewers through the uncomfortable truth point by point. He started with foreign policy, the area where Obama is often praised as a steady hand. But Gutfeld cut through the praise and laid out the facts. The withdrawal from Iraq that created a vacuum for ISIS. The drone program that escalated under his administration and led to countless civilian casualties. And the infamous red line in Syria that was drawn and then erased. These weren't just political talking points. They were global disasters that reshaped the world. Gutfeld didn't sugarcoat it. He reminded everyone that decisions made in glossy speeches carried consequences measured in lives. Then he turned the spotlight back home. Obama was hailed as the president who would heal divisions, unite the country, and usher in a new era of transparency. But what did America actually get? Gutfeld pointed out how racial tensions didn't dissolve, they deepened. How promises of government accountability fell flat, with scandals like the IRS targeting controversy and the VA crisis staining his record. And then there was Obamacare, marketed as affordable health care for all, but in reality, millions saw their premiums skyrocket and were forced to switch doctors. And Gutfeld didn't stop there. He hit the cultural side too. He questioned how the media treats Obama not as a political figure open to critique, but as a cultural idol shielded from scrutiny. Hollywood fawns, late-night hosts gush, and journalists tiptoe. Meanwhile, the same media that tears apart other leaders dares not touch him. It's not journalism, Gutfeld said. It's worship. And that's exactly what resonated with viewers. Because people see it, they feel the double standard every day. But the most chilling part of Gutfeld's takedown came when he asked, is Obama really gone from power? Because behind every whisper, behind every narrative pushed in Washington, his influence lingers. Whether it's in the policy direction of the Democratic Party or in the way leaders like Joe Biden carry themselves, Obama's shadow is there. Gutfeld's implication was clear. Maybe the Obama era never truly ended. And that question struck a nerve, because it dares to suggest that American politics is being shaped by someone who isn't even on the ballot anymore. The live audience didn't know whether to cheer or stay silent, but the message landed. For the first time in years, on a mainstream stage, someone wasn't just poking holes in the Obama legend. They were tearing the entire fabric apart. And this is where Gutfeld shined, because he didn't just rant. He came armed with receipts, examples, and undeniable facts. And when those truths start stacking, the polished armor of legacy doesn't just crack, it shatters.